If your opponent's toughest fight isn't you, but it's a courtroom, should you still touch gloves? And once that smoke hit, Netflix, MVP, everybody pulled the plug. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis canceled after an October 30th civil lawsuit accused Tank of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and emotional distress. Promoters and Netflix walked, full stop. But how real are these claims, and what happens to both careers now? The bout didn't collapse because boxing is soft. It collapsed because the allegations are heavy, public, and part of a pattern promoters can't ignore anymore. And in 2025, optics hit harder than left hooks. Welcome to Abner's Counterpunch. As we all know, the fight was set for November 14 on Netflix, a crossover exhibition, massive eyeballs, perfect chaos. Then the lawsuit lands. An ex-girlfriend, Courtney Russell, details multiple incidents in September to October, claiming to receive threats in writing and a specific strip club assault sequence with no cameras in the back room. MVP says, we're out. So what's proven? What isn't? And why did this one kill the show when past trouble didn't? Let's be adults. These are allegations in a civil case, not a criminal conviction. Different burden of proof. Doesn't mean fake, doesn't mean fact. It means sponsors and platforms hear kidnapping and death threats and slam the brakes. Civil complaint filed on October 30th in Miami-Dade, alleged repeated assaults, alleged threats to kill via messages, alleged incident at a Miami area club, back room, stairwell, kitchen, parking garage. As of cancellation week, no criminal charges announced on this new case. Investigation chatter exists, but the civil filing alone spooked the event. Is that fair? Maybe, maybe not. But promoters aren't juries, they're risk managers. And the key risk here isn't only the lawsuit, it's the pattern. Tank's resume is elite, but the rap shit around him, it's also lengthy. That's the problem. In 2020, viral charity game video, Tank grabbing a woman by the neck, charge followed. 2022, arrest for domestic battery ahead of Hector Garcia fight. The case later dropped after non-cooperation from the alleged victim. He also had a hit-and-run incident spanning 2020 to a plea in 2023. It led to a 90-day house arrest, to violation, to jailed to finish that sentence. And more recently in 2025, another Miami domestic case dropped. Again, witness issues. So when a new lawsuit hits with graphic detail, you think Netflix is gonna roll the dice? No chance. MVP statement condemned violence, event canceled the following week. This isn't old boxing where everyone shrugs. This is a mainstream streamer era. Funny thing, past mess didn't stop a Tank fight. This one did. Why now? 2 words, platform optics. A Netflix exhibition with Jake is not the same as an in-house pay-per-view with loyalists. It's a broader audience, stricter brand guardrails. Here's how fast it all unraveled. The timeline says it all. When the lawsuit drops, within 48 hours, Jake Paul's MVP launches a formal review and publicly condemns any form of violence. By November 3rd, the official word hits. The November 14 Netflix card is canceled. No postponement, no backup plan, just gone. And behind the scenes, along with a restraining order request from Russell, the kind of legal shadow that scares off sponsors even before any criminal charge lands. You don't headline a family room streamer while a fresh complaint says kidnapping in bold font. Not in 2025. So where does that leave Jake? And what's next for Tank? Hiatus or obituary? And look, Jake's team moved like a blitz. You can hate him all you want, but he doesn't sit still. An offer floated to Ryan Garcia as a swap. Promoter chatter says Ryan declined. Nate Diaz post, fight accepted, you're dead. Rematch noise hits loud after the cancellation. As a boxer, Diaz 2 doesn't involve Jake. As a business though, it's clean. Star power, storyline, zero courtroom landmines. Personally, that doesn't excite me though, especially if Nate doesn't take it serious. Regardless of fighter, they're not hunting a potential date in December, maybe even early January. Now, quick update here. I had to jump back on camera because this story keeps changing every day, it seems like. I was going to keep digging into the Diaz, Garcia, maybe even Francis Ngannou carousel of possibilities. But the talk right now, it seems like it's pointing toward Anthony Joshua being the actual replacement. I mean, yeah, AJ. Freaking heavyweight AJ. Which I'm still wrapping my head around how I feel about this. Because for Jake, that'd be skipping an entire ladder. Like, seriously, Joshua? That's not a replacement, that's skipping to an endgame boss battle. If that ends up being real, we're talking about a completely different conversation, which I'll break down once the dust settles on that. But yeah, all right, now back on track to the main thing. If I'm Jake's matchmaker with short notice, looking to keep the machine rolling, and Diaz is the safe chaos. Real respect climb though, that's Tommy Fury too. Wrong timing though. But the bigger win for Jake here isn't the opponent, it's the positioning. He just branded himself as the we don't platform abusers guy. Or at least that's what the attempt is, because he must have known about prior allegations. But whether you buy it or not, that's powerful marketing. Now let's talk Tank, because this part is messy and real. The current case against Gervonta is a civil lawsuit, not a criminal charge, meaning no conviction, no indictment, and a lower burden of proof. So far, no criminal charges have been filed in connection with these new allegations. In boxing's fragmented system with no central commissioner, that distinction matters. Historically, fighters often return after legal troubles once penalties are served or cases are dropped. From past domestic violence incidents to hit and run convictions, the precedent is clear. In this sport, talent usually gets another round. But if he's found liable or ends up charged and convicted, you're looking at real downtime. Court potential custody, sponsors ghosting him. If it gets settled or gets dropped, he'll fight again. It might not be on Netflix, but boxing's memory is shorter than a TikTok. My view, this isn't about sanctimony, it's about control. If you can't control your outside game, the sport eventually is going to tap you out. The ring doesn't separate from real life anymore. And finally, the smart move for Jake is risk managed chaos like this, while the bigger credibility climb waits with a Fury rematch. Hell, I prefer to see Francis Ngannou myself, but I think that's really low in terms of possibilities, even after that beef on X. For Tank though, the only path back is accountability plus time. No shortcuts. If Tank beats the case and fixes the man in the mirror, he's back. If not, that career over you saw in the thumbnail stops being a question. Another interesting fight though that's happening at the end of this year, Andrew Tate comes back on Misfits Boxing. Click here to see me break that down and subscribe while you're at it so you don't miss the next chaos we break down. See ya.